I'm a firm believer that you should never do something you don't feel like doing, that you should live your life in a way where the choices that you make are entirely your own, that they're not based on anybody else's beliefs, they're not based on other people's plans that they cut through life, that they tagged with red lights, that you should follow that path or that you should go and do something you don't feel like doing. I have a very natural, I guess, naturalist way of thinking about it, I suppose. And a lot of people are against that. They're against that. Oh, well, you gotta go to school when you're supposed to. You gotta do this. You gotta go and do that. Well, you know what? If you don't like doing something, I feel that you shouldn't have to. If you want to live out in your car and travel the country, whatever, then go ahead and do it. I'm a firm believer in that. But sometimes in life, you really have to do it. You have to do that thing that you don't like doing, right? It happens in life. Maybe it's a family gathering you don't want to go to. Maybe it's you have to wake up early to go to your job or school and you don't like it. While I'm against doing what you don't want to do, while I'm against that, I can see where those times in life come. It's not like I've never had to go through that I have to get up at 6 a.m. and do something that I don't like doing. It happens to all of us. We live in that kind of society, clearly, obviously. So what do? You're laying in your bed or wherever, and you realize that you have an obligation in the eyes of other people, an obligation to go and do something. You have to go to that gathering. You have to go to that meeting. But you really just don't feel like it. You don't want to go. It's shitty, it's boring, it's a waste of your energy, you're not interested, you're going to feel awkward, it's going to be embarrassing. Whatever reason in your head you have about this particular thing that you have to do and why you don't want to do it. I have advice for this situation, these situations, and what's worked for me. It's all I can really offer. I've heard other people talk about their methods, and I have some things that have worked for me, right? And this is hopefully going to strike a chord within you and realize, okay, yes, I can use this to get up and do that thing I don't like to do, but I am obligated, because if I don't, then something in my life will go wrong, whatever it may be. People will be mad at me if I don't do it, or I'll lose something. Here's what you can do. Here is how you do something you don't feel like doing, right? Okay. The next time that you are laying down in bed and you have to get up, or you're sitting down, you're already up, but you need to go and do something at a particular time, wherever you are when this starts, where you realize that, oh shit, this is something I don't want to do. When that thought comes in your head, when that feeling, that depressive feeling, because it is a depressive feeling when you know that you have to do something you don't want to do. When that comes in, you have to stonewall yourself. Stonewall yourself. And while I am about humanity and doing as your heart is telling you to do, and going with the flow of the world, going with your own flow, not to anybody else's pace, not to anybody else's standards. As much as I'm against that, you have to go against that. Because that, what I just described, is humanity. It is being in touch with yourself, being in touch with the world, and realizing that these material things aren't important. But on the other hand, if you really need to do something you don't feel like doing, you need to cut that humanity away, unfortunately. Because we live in a very non-human era, a very non-natural era. It's very artificial, this era of time, this society. It is not in touch with nature. It is not in touch with feelings. It's about cutting yourself off from your feelings, right? Cutting yourself off from your humanity and just doing that thing against your will. Like they say, to have the willpower to do it, but really what you're doing is getting rid of your will. Your own will, your human will, is to not do it. So you have to get rid of that. Cut yourself off, right? From those feelings, right? So if that's something that you know you need to do, but you don't want to do it, cut away your feelings. and start to adapt to a principle. That hip hop ET preacher, I forgot his name, he said, he's had this quote where he said, there's nothing behind your feelings, but behind every principle is a promise. This is what he said. There's nothing behind your feelings, there's nothing after your feelings, but after every principle is a promise. And what he means is that your feelings aren't going to help you. It's true. They're not going to help you. Your feelings are going to tell you, no, I don't want to get up. No, I don't feel like it. I can't, I don't want to go and see them. I don't want. Those are feelings. But a principle is to stonewall yourself from those feelings and go, it doesn't matter, I'm just getting up, I'm forcing myself. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and go work out, whatever it may be, right? And that is the stonewalling of your emotions, the stonewalling of your humanity, and it is the breaking out through it, a courageous step into doing that thing without thinking about it, without worrying about your feelings and without thinking about how it's going to go. It's just riding it through and severing that connection between your feelings and your motives. So that's really the gist. The next time that you need to do something and you don't feel like fucking doing it, sever your feelings. Sever that human response to not do it. Sever it. And I guarantee you'll be able to do it. Stop thinking, sever the ties to your feelings about the situation, and ride it through without doing either. You'll make it through. And keep in mind as you do this, that this thing that you're doing that you don't like doing won't last forever. It will end. It will be over at some point. An hour it may take, a day it may take, but eventually that thing that you don't want to do will end, will be over. And because you severed your feelings and because you severed that overthinking about how you don't like it and blah, 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 and you ride it through, it will go by in a snap. And it may have been, for whatever it was, worth it that you went through it. Especially in the society that you live in. Now you got that job. Now you got that license. Now you got that communication between a family member that you needed, whatever it may be. But that's all I really need to say. Good luck. I hope you can get your fucking ass up.